The world is mud and sky. Rain, endless and grey, has finally ceased its assault, leaving behind a silence broken only by the drip of water from stone. For 3 days the clan huddled in the highest caves of the rock spire, listening to the roar of the great flood, a sound that devoured the screams of beasts and the splintering of ancient trees. Now marooned on their rock island, they emerge. Jorisi, the lead hunter, stands at the precipice, his knuckles white on the haft of his obsidian-tipped spear. Below, a brown, churning sea stretches to a horizon that is no longer familiar. Their entire world, the valley of green ferns and towering cycads, is gone, drowned. This is the brutal reality of their prehistoric world, a lesson carved into the bones of their ancestors. Kaelen, the old woman whose face is a map of scars and sorrows, joins him. Her eyes do not see the water, they see the lack of everything else. No berry bushes, no grazing herds of triceratops, no fresh water source but the puddles in the rock. The water will fall, she rasps, her voice thin as a dry leaf. But hunger will rise faster. They are 27 survivors, a sliver of the 50 who saw the rains begin. They are Homo sapiens, a species defined by thought, but thought offers little comfort against a starving belly. Their predicament is a stark tableau of what life million years ago was truly like, a constant, desperate negotiation with extinction. A young scout, Lyra, calls out from the far side of the mesa. Her voice is tight with a fear that cuts through the damp air. Jorisi and Kaelen move with the grim economy of those long accustomed to bad news. Lyra points with a trembling hand. There, revealed by the receding waters, is their only hope. A bridge. A thin spine of rock, no wider than 2 men lying end to end, connects their spire to the distant, mist-shrouded cliffs of the mainland. But it is what lies upon the bridge that has stolen the girl's breath. Halfway across, a chaotic mound of sticks branches, and the bones of large animals sits like a monstrous throne. And on the throne, a creature of nightmare unfolds its wings to dry them in the weak sun. Its wingspan eclipses the entire width of the bridge, a vast leathery sail of flesh and bone. Its head, longer than Jorisi is tall, is crowned with a swept-back crest of dull reed, and ends in a beak like a sharpened spear. It is a Quetzalcoatlus that ever cast a shadow upon the earth. Jorisi feels a coldness that has nothing to do with the damp air. This is no mere beast, it is a god of the sky, a true apex predator of the air. As they watch, it stretches its long, stalk-like neck, and a dense coat of downy hair like filaments. Its PYC no fibers, ripples in the breeze, making the colossal pterosaur seem disturbingly alive, intelligent. It is then they see the smaller, hungry heads of its chicks peering from the nest. They are not merely stranded. They are trapped in a tyrant's kingdom, and the only path to survival is through its nursery. 2 days pass. Hunger is no longer an ache, it is a predator stalking them from within. The children's cries have faded to a listless silence. The hunters watch the sky, their faces gaunt, tracking the great pterosaur as it soars on thermal currents, a distant cross against the clouds. They see it dive, a streak of brown and red, and return with struggling, unit infightable shapes in its massive beak to feed the screeching chicks in the nest. Each successful hunt is a testament to the life teeming just beyond their reach, and a nail in the coffin of their own hopes. The anthropology of their small society is simple, they live or die together. This is the first rule. On the 3rd morning, Kaelen gathers Jorisi and the 2 strongest remaining hunters, Teraka and Bor. She has not been idle. While others despaired, she watched. Her foresight is the clan's most vital weapon. It rides the wind, she says, her voice low and certain. When the sun is high, the wind boils up from the chasm. It lifts the Great One, but at twilight, the air grows still. The sky tyrant is clumsy then. It must labor to take flight, and it prefers to rest. There is a window between the last light and the true dark, a time of quiet air. Jorisi understands. The clan's collective intelligence begins to churn, forging a desperate strategy. The plan is a whisper against a hurricane, but it is the only plan they have. They will cross at twilight. The crossing requires more than just courage, it demands a deep understanding of hominid history, a lineage of problem solvers. Lyra, the scout, and two other fast runners will be the distraction. From the far side of the mesa, timing the loud splashes to draw the parents' attention away from the bridge, the rest will move in single file, silent as ghosts. The afternoon is spent in grim preparation. They sharpen spears and hand axes, their osteodontocratic technology, tools crafted from the bones, teeth, and horns of their former prey, representing the pinnacle of their ingenuity. Jory C. inspects a bola, three heavy, rounded stones bound by braided sinew. It is a piece of primitive technology, useless against the sky tyrant's hide, but it might be used to foul a leg or a wing in a last, suicidal act of defiance. A bitter, woody meal that does little to quell the fire in their stomachs, as the sun bleeds across the horizon, casting the world in shades of orange and purple. A profound quiet settles over the clan. They look at each other, their faces illuminated by the dying light, and in their eyes is the shared knowledge of the stakes. The journey is not just for food, but for the continuation of their small, flickering flame of humanity. Jory C. grips his spear, its polished bone cool against his palm. The distraction team slips away into the shadows. The wind begins to die down. It is time. He turns to his people, gives a single sharp nod, and takes the first step onto the path of bones. The stone is cold and slick beneath their bare feet. On either side, the abyss exhales a damp, chilling breath. The clan moves as a single organism, each step placed with agonizing care. Far below, the first of Lyra's thrown stones hits the water with a loud thwack, and then another. Jory C. sees the Quetzalcoatlus' immense head turn, its bright, intelligent eye fixing on the disturbance. The distraction is working. They are halfway across, moving past the monstrous nest where the chicks, all beaconed appetite, shift restlessly. The air is thick with the metallic stench of old blood and guano. These early humans are walking a razor's edge between two kinds of death. Then chaos. A small boy, his nerves frayed beyond endurance, stumbles, his knee striking the rock with a sharp crack of bone on stone. He stifles a cry, but it is too late. One of the chicks, larger than the rest, lets out a high-pitched, piercing shriek. The parent's head whips back toward the bridge, its gaze instantly locking onto the line of small, upright figures. The illusion of their invisibility is shattered. For a frozen second, there is only the vast, unblinking stare of the sky tyrant. It rises. It is a landslide of leather and bone, unfolding its terrible wings to block out the last of the dying night. Panic, cold and electric, flashes through the clan. They are caught. But before Jory C. can even scream the order to run, Kaelen acts. With a strength born of pure resolve, she shoves the boy's mother forward. Go, she rasps, a command of iron. Then the old woman turns back. She does not run away from the nest. She runs towards it, waving her thin arms, her voice rising in a defiant, quavering shriek that challenges the monster. It is a desperate, brilliant act of altruism, a final gift of foresight. She is making herself the greater threat, the immediate problem. The Quetzalcoatlus, its territorial fury now completely focused, ignores the fleeing clan. It takes one lumbering step and lurches. The air rushes past Jory C. as the great head strikes. There is no struggle. The creature's keratino-US beak, a biological spear perfected over 1,000,000 years, dropped us through Kaelen's frail body. The sickening snap of her sadi hears from her. The beast lifts head, tossing her aside like a broken doll, and returns its attention to its screeching young. Jory C. grabs the stunned boy and shoves him forward. Move, he bellows, his voice cracking. They scramble over the remaining length of the bridge, terror giving them a final, hellish burst of speed. They do not look back. They simply run until the solid earth of the mainland is beneath their feet and they collapse. A weeping, gasping tangle of survivors. They are alive. They are free, but the shadow of the bridge, and the price they paid upon it, will stretch over them for the rest of their days. They do not linger on the cliff's edge. They are 26 now, a number that feels hollow and wrong. As they move inland, into the strange, dense foliage of a new world, they carry the silence of Kaelen's sacrifice with them. It is a weight heavier than any stone tool, more vital than any spear. What happened on that bridge was more than the brutal calculus of survival, more than one life for many. It was a defining moment in the long, bloody narrative of human evolution. On an Earth dominated by dinosaurs, by teeth and claw and brute force, they had answered with foresight, cooperation, and the agonizing, uniquely human capacity for self-sacrifice. They had looked upon an uncaring god of the sky and refused to simply be its prey. This is the echo that will follow them, the ember that will glow in the stories told around their first new fire. It is the story of how our ancestors, small and fragile, learned that their greatest weapon was not in the hand, but in the heart that chose to sacrifice itself for the hand of another. Their struggle is the primal seed of the courage that would one day allow their descendants to look up at the stars not in fear, but with a question. The past is not a foreign country. It is the foundation beneath our feet, built from the bones of those who faced the monsters and chose to be human. But in the endless dark of the deep caves, something new is learning to see without eyes.